Hello, welcome to the Princess Boysenberry channel. Today we are going to talk about a hot topic, albeit a morbid one. Yes, I'm talking about the speculation for a Grim Reaper pack. And I'm going to give my 2 cents worth, but I'm also going to focus on what we do already have in the game that we can put together, which is something that I do myself, in case it doesn't come along or in case it takes a while to do so. So first of all, there has been some speculation recently for various packs that we might be getting with talking like bands and time travel and fairies and funerals, oh my. And to be perfectly frank, I'm down with any of these, although I will confess that bands is at the absolute top of my wish list. But this one I've been thinking about since my last LP and I had a little visit from Grim himself. So I thought I might share with you, first of all, what I already do in the game to deal with, the big D as I sometimes call it, shuffling off the mortal coil, kicking the bucket, the end of existence. I know it's a morbid topic. If it's not your thing, feel free to bail right now. I mean, we're not going to get too real, but it is something you might not always be in the mood for. So having said that, let's move on now. My solution to the lack of a graveyard in The Sims 4 is to make my own with a generic lot. Now this I have called Goddess Gardens. Now I always like to put this into my saves. Well, most of the time I do, when the time comes, that is. And I always like to put it here in Willow Creek behind the Goth House. And yes, I was totally channeling The Sims 3 when I made that move. A little bit of nostalgia in Goddess Gardens behind the Goth House. Although I'm going to show you something here, which I just noticed. So this save here, this is one of my own games. This is my favorite save file. But look at this. That ain't the Goths. This is the Groves, and they're both like deceased. And they kind of look old-timey as well. I don't even know what is going on. I didn't put them in there. They're just there. I'm guessing Neighborhood Stories has shifted the Goths somewhere else, but how creepy is that? I was just like, oh, okay. So who is this lady? What is her name even? They're just called the Groves as well. The Groves? I don't know who they are. Hang on. Yeah. Young adult. What's your name? I don't even find their names. It's creepy, is it not? Don't you think that's creepy? I certainly do. So now that we've started our journey to Creepville, let's go to Goddess Gardens. It's a generic lot and I've put some extra stuff in it just to create atmosphere, and I'm going to show you. Actually, be better if we let a sim take us there. Let me organize that and I'll meet you there. Welcome to Goddess Gardens, and by some bizarre chance of irony, the sim that I've chosen to take us here, Miss Anastasia Moosington, has decided to become a cheerful sim, which is in the graveyard. Oh boy. Oh, we've had a Sims moment here. I'm going to say yes because I actually think that kind of suits her. This is my game after all. Oh dear. I did choose her for a reason though, because she was the housemate of the very first sim to pass away here. And so I thought I'd bring her here. Yep, Space Dad. Here we go. This is the one I'm talking about. Gwen Toffee, Forever Our Friend, my original house of friendship. There. And yep, one last party and, Rising Star. What else have we got over here? Oh, look at this. Come on, you can't top a pun like this one. Bjorn again. Get it? Oh boy. And final land grabbing. See, it's just a... Anyway, this is supposed to be a place of mourning and remembrance, but it doesn't mean you can't include a bit of humor here or there to get through the, morbidity of the situation. Intergalactic dude. I'm sure that's how he'd want to be remembered. So this here is Goddess Gardens. I'm going to show you that it is a generic lot. This is about the only thing, one of the only things I've ever used generic lot for, because I just simply forget it exists. Now, depending on what packs you have, you can add some additional things to give it a bit of atmosphere as well. Like, for example, I have Island Living and I put Island Spirits in because they do manifest here inside this little worshipping place I've got here. And it really does help create atmosphere, I will say that. So I've just basically put in anything that will help create the atmosphere and vibe of the place. So that includes Vampire Nexus, and we've also got a lot challenge, which is this spooky lot challenge, which means that, you know, it attracts ghosts. So I've just gone for anything that sort of screams, you know, afterlife spirituality and a bit of spookiness as well. So that's how I've set this up that way. Now we'll go back to the old live mode here. And as you can see, I put in some sort of like gothic trees around here and that. I've tried to create an atmosphere. I built this a while ago. I'll say it for the 9 billionth time. I'm not a builder, so I'm sure there is a great chance that you out there could make a far better looking, more atmospheric goddess gardens or whatever you want to call it than I have. But this is just an example of what you can do. And I'll just show you here. It's sort of, yeah, it does have sort of a church sort of feel. Now, as we know, there isn't any religion in The Sims 4 unless you use mods. I think there is a mod for that. But I'm just trying to, you know, create some place that Sims can go to pay respects, to worship. I don't know what they're worshipping. We know that Netherworld exists. We know that ghosts exist. So we know that there is an afterlife. There is spirituality of some sort. There's just not usually a way in which Sims can express it. So that's why I built sort of this sort of, it's kind of, you know what I'm getting at. You can see and you can do whatever you like. That's just what I've gone with, obviously. We've got a little bit of some facilities here as well. Now, I will admit that apart from being a place to mourn and worship, it also makes a pretty good place to woohoo a ghost. If you don't have mods, you might want to put in a bush or two. I am a simmer after all. I am a simmer. So I think everybody who's succumbed to the curse of mortality has already she can go and read it, already gone to the netherworld. And so the options for the gravestones are reduced once the sim has gone to the netherworld. I think everybody's gone, but you can still look at it. You a celebrity? What a joke. Yeah, our homegirl here's a celebrity of the highest order. It appears to read forever, our friends. You can still read it even when they've gone to the netherworld. Who are you? Oh, wow. I forgot that she passed away. That's very sad, that one, actually. So here we have the spirits, so you can see. I'm sorry, my game is lagging like a son of a gun. Ruining the atmosphere. So this is why I put the island spirits in, is it creates this nice type of atmosphere. And here's another look at the spirits in action in an alternative dimension, which is, you know, another save file. And this is what they can look like as well. So as you can see, it just looks like the place is haunted, but in like a pretty way, not in like a scary way. It's very atmospheric. I know I keep saying that. Speaking of atmospheric, I think the snow sort of contributes as well. I was just reading some of these and there's this one over here. Oh dear, what happened there? I don't even remember. Anyway, back to it. So as you can see, you know, you can really create whatever sort of atmosphere you want, but I've sort of gone for some sort of a spiritual gothic mesh up of things since, you know, that's what there is in The Sims. So that's how I, you know, deal with that, this particular aspect of The Sims. Oh, you're mopping in the graveyard there, Anastasia. Well, isn't that very thoughtful? Keep it nice for everybody who wants to come and pay respects. That threw me right off my tangent, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, so when you first put a gravestone down and then have the option to actually, you know, mourn properly or even call forth the ghost, this makes sort of a place where, you know, your Sims can hang out and stuff. You could put in something for them to eat somewhere, maybe. I thought maybe you could put in a like a vending machine, I guess. It depends on what sort of vibe you're going for. So what could we expect from a Grim-themed pack? Well, apparently being able to have your sim be the Reaper could be a thing. Would this mean a career similar to Get to Work, where you show up to a regular venue and then get sent out on missions? Would it be like that? Or perhaps it would be like the paranormal investigator career a little bit as well. Would you also, I wonder, be able to simply wreak havoc wherever you please on the unsuspecting Sims of the world? Or you could just take pictures like that kid. Okay, stop the video. That was far too disturbing not to watch again. You know, I think the Grim Pack should actually come with some therapy for those who have lost someone and also for this here kid. Oh dear. This man's doing it too. This man's doing it too. They're all taking photos. Is this like a hobby club or something? A very twisted one. I reckon this kid would want to be Grim when he grows up. Look what he's thinking about. He's like, as soon as I grow up, I'm pushing Grim off the roof and I'm taking his job. Oh my God, look at this dude as well though. He's taking photos as well. Holy cheese balls, people. This is quite disturbing indeed. Yeah, cover your mouth. Cover your mouth. You should be crying. You should be crying. Would you then also be able to interact with the citizens that show up to spectate the event, I wonder, as well? What you doing there, Grim? You telling a story? It looks like he's practicing acting or something. Oh dear. Bambalaya! Well, he's amused himself, and that is the most important thing at the end of the day. In any case, I can't help but actually imagine what it'd be like for Grim to come home from work after a hard day. He'd be all like, "Hi, honey, I'm home. It was a brutal day at the Netherworld office. I could really use a juice and a bubble bath." But so far, what I personally would want from any sort of Grim-related pack or update or whatever they went with would be more depth around the actual grieving process. And that would probably mean something like tailored moodlets. Like, for example, this is a stock standard one. She's just lost her sibling at the last 2 days, but it's not very personalized at all. And it doesn't matter how close you were or how not. It's just very, very standard. And you just get this one moodlet. You don't go like on a journey of having times where you remember them and getting additional moodlets. See, I think something like the midlife crisis system that they have, where you sort of get moodlets sort of updating you on where your sim is at. So they sort of go on a bit of a roller coaster. I think it should be similar to that myself. So more varied moodlets, more moodlets that happen during the process, a tailored amount of days depending on how close you were to the sim, and more and varied pie wheel options to communicate with not only the sim who has lost someone, but the sim who has lost someone with other sims. Actually, I think this needs to be said. This console about death option here is just about the only thing you can do in the pie wheel, and that just makes no sense considering the magnitude of the event. I think it's just simply not good enough. So yeah. I also think there should be an option to be able to throw a special event to say goodbye to the sim and invite all the friends and family of the sim. And, they could use that pie wheel options and, reminisce and be sad together and I suppose eat food, maybe have a juice together as well, that sort of thing. There could also be a ceremony at the actual graveyard if they had an official one where, just say you clicked on the tombstone or whatever and maybe somebody said a few words or everybody was sort of a bit more together with it and stuff like that. I think it would go a long way because it is something lacking. But since we have the opportunity here now, I'm really not one for offing my sims. It's not something I usually like to do. I mean, I can always erase this as part of the history of this save, but I'm probably going to go with it in all honesty. So I'm going to take the siblings of the departed. I suppose her partner as well might want to come and help console her. And I'll just go through what I do as is with what we have now. So we are in another dimension or another universe, I should say, a parallel world to where we've been before. This is not Anastasia's world and it's not even the other one we saw before. So yeah, we've got at least some heartbreak going on here. I say at least, that sounds terrible, isn't it? This Goddess Gardens has not been very utilized. It seems like we just have a couple here. We've got Charlotte Hawthorne and we've got this kind of harrowing one here. Couldn't save you, sorries. Hope your kid's okay. By Lord. Oh my, that's a bit disturbing, isn't it? Well, let's join the disturbingness with, we've got a vampire who has gone. So I'm just going to put that one sort of staggered here. So this is normally what we can do when somebody has just passed away. It's got the option to leave a sugar skull offering as well. Mourn vampire tombstone. We're going to start with that. And hopefully the others might find their way over here as well. Although they might not too. And this is why I would like some sort of coordination with this. If there's either not an event per se, or it could just be, everyone gets called over to say their piece or something. So it's a bit more, meaningful or realistic, I guess. So we've got her with the tissue box there. Very sad times, very sad times. It is her sister who has just gone to the great beyond. So let's just look at the options that we currently have. Engrave epitaph. Well, we might do that now. Wish you were here. Gee whiz. Her name was Dandelion. I don't know. Well, Dandelion is scattered to the wind, be free. Not the best ever, but we'll go for it now. So you can engrave the epitaph. leave a sugar skull offering, and then you can always release the spirit to the netherworld, or you can strengthen the connection to the physical world. Now, this will keep the ghost around this way, and releasing them to the netherworld will pretty much erase their existence. Look at the terrible spelling. How Dandelion has scooted to the wind. Be free. Oh dear, they should fire whoever did that job. Not very good. Yeah, we're going to strengthen the connection to the physical world as well. So yeah, time to nap it out. And then we've got this moodlet here. A friend has passed. See, I would like the moodlet to say a sibling has passed, because that's just so generic. It is so generic and not tailored to the experience at all. So it doesn't have as much depth. It has as much feeling. So yeah, so sometimes if you strengthen the connection, you're going to actually see the ghost appear, and sometimes you don't. But this is sort of what Goddess Gardens will function as. And then, you know, some of the family, obviously she's having a sleep here, but sometimes you just might want to, you know, sit in contemplation or whatever. The spirits around here, at least you know it's not the end. There's evidence of there being more, but it's still quite a sad occasion. So, you know, we've done the little things. If you have more than one sim that you're controlling, then you can all get them to mourn at the same time, and it starts to look a bit better. So now we might do something, just take the family over to a restaurant or something, and you know, yeah, there's the sister crying there. There's a bit of action there, but you can see how it would benefit from there being a little bit more going on, even in this situation. We're going to go to the Penne Palace. So yeah, I'm not going to play this whole thing out, but you get the idea. Everyone will be in a bit of a sad mood here, as you can see. And so they will go and have a meal together, even though they are sad, just to sort of as a token of remembrance. But as we know, we don't have many pie wheel options. We don't have that much in it. So that's why these are the sorts of things that I personally would like to see in the game. Oh, look, we've got rain. Let's talk about some atmosphere going on here. So yeah, there's my little video on what I do. You might do this yourself. You might do something else. Let me know in the comments if you have a way of getting around it. What have we got here? I'm delighted you recommended I spend some time with Willow Wheeler. Great name. I was amused the entire time. Good stuff, good stuff. So on that note, yeah, what do you do in The Sims 4? Because this is kind of a part of it that's lacking, if we're completely honest. Yeah, and it's not like they completely glaze over or anything. I mean, you can actually play as a ghost. I mean, there's a confirmed netherworld. I mean, there's a Grim Reaper. So it would be interesting if they did bring something else in. What do you think? Anyway, thank you very much for watching this little video. I hope you have a wonderful day or night. And bye from me for now. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.